Halo Combat evolved, known as Halo 1 or Halo Say, published on 15 November of 2001. Its story was about the Pillar of Autumn. The UNSC spaceship had been attacked by Covenants. Captain Jacob Keyes has ordered an emergency landing in a ring-shape area. For protecting the UNSC's AI, the Cortana gave it to Master Chief, the UNSC's Spartan, and leave them to that area. After that emergency landing, they understood that this area is a dangerous weapon and being protected by Covenants. Also, this ring shape was called Halo by Covenants. Master Chief and Cortana found a way to Halo's control room for avoiding that from Covenants. After that, they have figured out humans and Covenants released at a kind of parasites, known as Floods, that they were prisoners of Halo. For releasation of Floods, the Halo's protection AI, Guilty Spark 343, has been activated and suggested Master Chief to activate the Halo. When Master Chief wanted to activate it, suddenly Cortana appear and avoid him to do that. Because Halo is a weapon to destroy the Flood's feeds, humans, Covenants and stuff like this. Then, Cortana and Chief decided to perish the Halo. Unfortunately, Captain Jacob and most of the humans' Keys has been killed by Floods. Cortana has figured out that destroying one of the spaceship's engines will perish the Halo. For this decide, they have faced a defense of Guilty Spark, Covenants and Floods. Happily, Chief and Cortana succeed and they ran from there.
About the entire human race.
That's not going to happen.
Give him hell, Marine.
Get out of here before it's too late!
Halo 2 published on 9 November of 2004. Its story has started with Judgment Scene that Tree of Prophets of Covenants were judging a senior commander that they have defeated on Halo. This commander was a kind of Covenants called Elite. This commander, called Arbiter, has convicted to execution, but the Prophets has suggested to kill a traitor Covenants instead of execution. Arbiter with some Covenants went to kill the traitor, and after the killness of him, Arbiter figures that the traitor was Guilty Spark 343. In other dialogue, humans were celebrating of their victories with Master Chief near the Earth. After their celebration, didn't take a long time, Covenants has attacked Tahaman ships and New Mombasa City on Earth. The UNSC's forces has defeated their attacks. Leader of this was Regret Prophet. Then Amanda Keyes, Captain Jansen, Cortana and Master Chief started following them. After following, they figured that new type of Halo has been found by them. They knew that Halo is a dangerous weapon. Keyes and Johnson started looking for special codes of Halo before arrives of Covenants. The mission of Master Chief and Cortana were killing the Regret Prophet, and they have succeeded to kill him, but the Covenant's ships has arrived. Then Chief ran from there and jumped to water. Two other prophets felt angry and ordered Arbiter to catch the special codes, that Keyes and John were looking for that. Then, they have arrived at the same time and they and Arbiter knocked down the Keyes and Johnson, then he catch the codes but brutes, guardians of prophets, and throw him to a hole. In that hole, Mother of Floods, called Grave Mind, were living and it catch Chief, Arbiter, Johnson and Keyes, then started to tell them, activating the Halo will perish all creatures. Then Grave Mind transport Arbiter and Chief to other sites for avoiding the activation. Chief has transported to Covenant's command center, then Elites and Brutes were fighting to each other. Floods has attacked them and they killed one of the prophets. Then, Brutes has got away the last prophets and Chief separated from Cortana there and followed the prophets that he was running to Earth, and Cortana stayed there to explode the Halo in sensitive situation. In other side, Arbiter, Johnson and Keyes were fighting with Brutes to catch the codes and they have succeed. Floods has grabbed the command center that Cortana was there. All Halos have being ready to work by a remote called Arc. Halo 3 has released on 25 September of 2007. It was continuation of Halo 2. About its story, Chief couldn't have finished the last prophet yet and he landed emergency on Earth. Then Captain Johnson and Arbiter found him, reached him to Keyes. Keyes told Chief that the Prophet wants to catch the Ark. Unfortunately, Prophet succeed to make a portal to that Arkansas, but Floods has arrived by that portal and attacked the humans and Covenants. Chief went to Flood's ships and found a message from Cortana that she said, how they can destroy the Floods without perish all Halos. Happily, Elite's ship has arrived and opened fire the infection area, then Prophet ran from there and went to the Ark. Also Chief and his team followed Prophet and they reached to that Ark. Suddenly, Floods has arrived. Sadly Johnson has been catched by Prophet's forces for activating the Ark, because Ark is needed to activate by humans gens, and sadly Keyes killed by Prophet. Then Chief and Arbiter found Johnson and Prophet killed by Arbiter and they ran from there. Then they figured that Ark was building a new Halo. Guilty has told Chief that destroy the new Halo can perish floods and all Halos. After the run of Chief and Arbiter, Chief went to the Covenant's command center that Floods has grabbed the command center to save the Cortana and he succeed and got out there. Then Johnson, Arbiter, Chief and Cortana reached the control room of New Halo to perish it. We know that the main job of Guilty's Spark was protecting Halo. Guilty's Spark arrived and was talking to Johnson to avoid do this but he didn't take care. So Guilty shot him deadly and he knocked down then it started to kill Arbiter and Chief but Chief destroyed it by laser gun. In this way Johnson has dead and Chief inserted ruin codes to perish that Halo. He started running by Arbiter from there and they entered to a UNSC spacecraft and they flew from Halo. While they were going to Earth by a portal, suddenly it interrupted and that ship has been halved by portal and Arbiter reached Earth. They thought that Chief was dead but Chief with Cortana have lost in space.
I am your shield. I am your sword. I know you. Your past. Your future.